Okay, days 39 and 40 are done. It took a little bit longer on these 2 days, or almost like 3 days now, I guess. But I was working on creating destructible meshes, and with the fracturing tool in Unreal Engine, I did a lot of experimenting last couple days. And the actual tutorial was just basically teaching this stuff, how to get things to break apart, turn into smaller bits when they explode and stuff like that. I'll show you really quick. We'll just jump in and show some test things I did here. Just kind of stuff that breaks apart, so I got a low health on these things, so they fall apart really easily. So cool stuff kind of crumbles apart. That's right, that box actually fell from the sky. Watch this again, or it's supposed to anyway. Just watch it fall. Breaks in a million pieces. Kind of cool. How is that done? Great question. Take an object like this, any object, any mesh in the game here, and we actually just go to the factoring tool and hit new. I'm not going to go through the entire thing here. Hit new to create a new damage mesh, and then you can choose the type of fracture you want, whether it's bricks or uniform or clusters and all kinds of different things in here. I've only tried so far, I think uniform, cluster, and brick. There's a lot of options in here to mess with stuff. And so you can also adjust how many pieces fall and the damage it takes to different stages of damage, so that maybe it crumbles a certain way at a certain damage threshold and so on. And it gets kind of pretty cool results at the end. That was the main focus of the actual tutorial. The last part of it was to create a challenge for me to create an object in the game the players have to interact with that they can destroy. My first thought was to get this thing to crumble. I need to rethink this. I actually kept crashing Unreal Engine trying to get this to be fracturable when the boulder came down to hit it. So I gave up on that for now and instead made some pillars on this part of the level. Player will jump down. There's going to be some enemies in here that will fire back, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to put some bits in here that could be exploded by the barrel, and it took me a while to figure this out. I'll show you the solution, and then I'll show you the trouble I had getting here, but right now it works. Barrel burns, explodes, and thing falls down like you expect it to. Pretty cool. The big challenge of this was getting the pillar to receive the damage correctly. So this is the barrel itself. I tried actually the first problem I had was the pillar itself kept, oops, I lost my window of level. Interesting, okay. Well, I'll have to pause this for a second. Maybe edit this back. Oh, here we go. Okay. First thing I had a problem with was placing these down. They just tip over and explode, fracture everywhere. I couldn't get them to stay put. So I ended up finding out something called a start awake. Let's see if we can find it here. Start awake. I had to disable this. Basically, it turns the physics on and off of the object. So now when the game starts, this thing won't just tip over. It actually stays in position. And then the next challenge was to figure out how to enable physics on it when it received damage. My first thought was to have the event any damage turn on the simulate physics whenever it took damage. It didn't quite work out the right way it was supposed to, so I ended up moving that to the begin play, adding delay so that after 3 seconds the physics gets turned on for the geometry component of the pillar. And that actually works really well. The second thing I had to figure out was how to actually apply the damage. I tried to apply in a radial impulse, and I couldn't get it to hit, or I couldn't get it to not do anything to the pillar at all. And using some print strings, I figured out that the damage itself was being applied, but the impulse was not. I left this here just for now to play with it later on, but it doesn't actually need to be here anymore. What this means is I added the event any damage. It was receiving damage from the barrel, but it wasn't doing anything with it. So after messing around for a bit, I found I could use, decided to use an apply radial impulse so that when it receives damage, it then applies a radial impulse on itself, its own component here itself. I chose the origin as the damage causer, in this case the barrel, and the strength of the impulse is based on the damage received by whatever is attacking it, or whatever is damaging it. This is a bit more dynamic, so that it doesn't matter what's hitting it, it'll take damage and apply it correctly to the pillar. and that was the result I came up with here, which actually knocks down. Now, right now it's set to really low hit point levels, so it's anything I can just walk into it and it'll fall over. So I can adjust this later on. Boom. But it's got too high of an impulse there. But the idea was that it could kind of react. I'm not sure if this will hit it. We'll see. Yeah. Cool. So exactly kind of how I wanted it to work. Oh, I hate missing that, huh? Oh, it's not going far enough. Interesting. Okay. Some kind of fun learning as we go here. So there you go. Destruction, fracturing, and damage all in one video. And this was a fun one to learn. I still intend to really want to dive deep into the damage model, like detailed damage models in Unreal Engine. So I'll work on that. And this is my first step, and that's why it took so long to figure this out, because I really wanted to figure this first part out. So thanks for watching.